sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Snap good. Hold it. The kick is no good. It is wide right. And the Steelers are the champions of the North.
Can you talk about the decision to center the ball as opposed to maybe being more aggressive and trying to make it an easier kick for
That was a close kick. You want to center the ball. We wanted to make sure we got the kick. You didn't want something bad to happen on the run. I don't think that was a bad decision.
Yeah, I'm going to politely disagree. If you want me to be impolite, I could say nanny, nanny, boo-boo. There's no justifying that. That's something that you do with, 5 seconds left. It's not something you do with 14 seconds left. And arguably, you don't have to run the ball with 14 seconds left. To say it's a close kick, you're right. It's a makeable kick. There's no getting around it. And we'll deal with Tyler Loop, obviously, as the show goes on. Tyler Loop has not been an NFL kicker to this point, and we'll deal with Tyler Loop. But that's what you've got. That's who your kicker is. A kicker who's never made a kick of consequence in his life. He's never made a kick that mattered. I don't know what would have happened if they would have attempted to run the ball. Spare me, though. Well, only bad could happen there. Then why play the game? Spare me. Only bad could happen. You want to center the ball when you're I
was still thinking, maybe they run it and then we get a cover as well, because then Henry just breaks a 20-yard run there and scores.
I'm still thinking about throwing the football there. That's how little faith I had in Tyler Loop. There's no world where you think it's over, because there was nothing that backed that up. Now, I'm still surprised that he missed the kick, because to the point he had been good inside of 50 yards. I'm still surprised, but that thought process. Hi, it's Glenn Clark Radio. Look, obviously we're into the offseason. That's the way that it goes. We'll have some finishing touch stuff this week, and we'll see what happens as far as any big decisions that might be coming for the Baltimore Ravens. That'll be something that we'll be monitoring throughout the course of the week. But we'll move into the off-season, and my big takeaways are twofold. You can find it at PressBoxOnline.com. It's time. It's been time. And it was going to be time, save for some sort of miraculous deep run that just wasn't happening. And it's not John Harbaugh's fault that Kyle Hamilton got hurt. It's not John Harbaugh's fault that, technically that Tyler Loop missed the kick. But it's way too much. It's overwhelming. And the organization is moving backwards at the moment. The winning that I could always default to and say, look, man, I want all these things to get cleaned up, but I'm just good with winning. It's going the opposite way. It's time. Do I think it's going to happen? As I've said a million times, no, I don't. Because that would require the Ravens doing something big, and that's not what they do. I don't think it's going to happen. In fact, there was a report this morning or a tweet from Josina Anderson that said essentially not the opposite. I guess it didn't really even address the other side of it. But Josina Anderson tweets out this morning, league sources have been anticipating potential change at the coordinator level in Baltimore. Stay tuned for the latest. And, yeah, sure. Sure, I mean, I get it. There's no defending any of the coordinators. Literally, and all three of them. Not one of them can justify that their unit lived up to what they were supposed to live up to this season. Not one of them. And you could debate which one of them was worse. Like, you could say, hey, I mean, the offense wasn't as bad as the defense. You could do all that all you want. Not any of the coordinators can sit back and say, our unit was good enough this year. But to me, that's not where the conversation ends. And I don't know how the answer can just be, well, it's the coordinator's fault. But we will see in the coming days. We will see how the Ravens go about handling things. Our next guest was in Pittsburgh last night, witnessed all of it and how it all unfolded. He, of course, is with NFL Network. He's Omar Ruiz, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Omar, it's Glenn in Baltimore. Appreciate you taking the time for us this morning, man. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem, Glenn. How are you, man? I know things have been better in Baltimore, but, yeah, what a frustrating end, and I think you kind of encapsulated a lot of the frustration, not just from last night, but really the entire season to have, what many people considered the Super Bowl favorites to missing the playoffs entirely. Frustrating is probably understating that.
Yeah, Omar, in a weird way, it almost feels like had they made that kick, it would have masked a lot of things that are wrong. Like if I'm the football gods, it almost feels like the football gods were kind of saying like, nah, we're not going to let this happen because there were too many failures, too many shortcomings to mask it all by sort of sneaking your way into the playoffs at the end. I think this is kind of fitting for who the Ravens were. They weren't very good this season. They came up short, and it's a bummer because obviously Lamar Jackson looked great in the last couple of minutes, but I think this is about right for what the story of the 2025 Ravens was.
Yeah, the inconsistency was the sort of hallmark for me in that, when you go to Green Bay and run it down their throats and 36 times and Derrick Henry 216 yards and has the game of his life. That's what you envision pairing with Lamar Jackson, how he played late last night. And it's no wonder you think this team can accomplish all of its goals. And for it to not show itself, so few and far in between this season, leads to those deeper questions that you were alluding to because, obviously Lamar was banged up this year. Injuries are the story for many teams, but there's still just so much talent for them not to be able to put, good performances together consistently, even with an injury to Lamar Jackson. He sits out last game. They turn the reins over to Derrick Henry and they go off. That's kind of what we should have been seeing all year long, depending on who's in the lineup, who's out of the lineup, who's going to step up. That's what good teams do. And obviously at 8-9, a non-playoff team, the Ravens just weren't good enough this year.
Omar Ruiz, NFL Network, with us here on GCR. Omar, a couple of things on the micro, and then I want to go to the macro with you. From last night alone, what did you make of, there's been a lot of debate about whether or not they should have run another play before the field goal with a kicker that was completely and wildly unproven up until that moment. But, everybody will bring up, hey, there's risk in doing that. What if you fumble the ball there and you never get the kickoff? What did you make of the decision, still with 14 seconds to play in a timeout, to just sort of retreat, lose a couple of yards, to try to center it? What did you make of that decision?
Well, I made that they had confidence in Tyler Loop, and for the most part, he exhibited reasons why this season they would be confident in him. But I agree, I'm pretty aggressive mindset in that way to, get a few extra yards, make it as easy as possible, especially when the wind in that stadium kind of circulates the way it does, and the history they have playing there is not that they're in unfamiliar territory. So, especially with that timeout, being able to get a few more yards, make it easier on your rookie kicker, I would have been all for it. But all that being said, he had plenty of leg. Things were set up for him to hit that kick. And,
just missed
again,
Yep.
we talk about many shortcomings. A good team makes those kicks and go on to the playoffs, and they fell short on many aspects last night and on the season.
The defense late, is that just about losing Kyle Hamilton, or did you feel like it was more, hey, the dam was always going to break because they just, again, were completely unable to get any pressure on Aaron Rodgers last night?
Yeah, no, I attribute that Kyle Hamilton loss, significant for as much as he does, for as much as he, can help disguise coverages and physicality that he plays with. That was a huge blow. I think maybe if DK Metcalf and Darnell Washington were there, maybe you can attribute a dam sort of breaking at some point. But I think last night's blow, Kyle Hamilton, was as significant as we all thought it would, and I think that was on display there in the second half.
Is Omar Ruiz with us here on GCR. Omar, it feels like we're sort of piling this on, the number of shortcomings the Ravens have had in big games in recent years, whether it's Mark Andrews dropping a ball in Buffalo or Zay Flowers extending for the goal line in the AFC Championship game a couple years ago and coughing it up. It just sort of feels like this has become part of the Ravens' DNA. And to me, that's why I think that serious change might be necessary. Am I going too far? Like, should we compartmentalize it and say, hey, if you lose, you lose. It doesn't really matter if there was a play. It just sort of feels like this is the story, unfortunately, of the Ravens, and it requires doing something to move on from this era of Ravens football.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go so far as to, make a huge significant change, because the fact that they have been involved in so many big games and playoffs and we're in position to win the division last night, except for a few feet on a kick that sailed right. So kind of like you said, macro. But I look at a team like Buffalo, who similarly at some point has their shortcomings, and they have yet to reach a Super Bowl in this MVP quarterback era of their franchise. So they do happen. A long, hard look at changes need to happen. Obviously, there's a reason why there was inconsistent football all year long from a team so talented. So that needs to be addressed. But as far as moving on from this era, I wouldn't be so quick to do that. The fact that they're in position year in and year out ultimately is a good sign. And I think this era of football, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, has earned a right to chalk this one up to just a bad season. Things didn't go their way, and see if they can figure it out in 2026.
And to be clear, I'm certainly not suggesting they should move on from Lamar Jackson at all, and I think the people that are crazy. But I understand what it is that you're saying. I guess the other question I would have is, does it still feel like the Ravens are moving forward on the whole, though? Because I think beyond just the record, the concerning part to me is kind of looking at the core of this team and saying, are they still moving player-wise, personnel-wise, in the right direction? Like Travis Jones came on this year. That was nice, but are the core of these players still developing in a way that I feel like they're still ascending? And it's really tough for me to say that at this point, Omar.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I think, there may, you look at Kansas City, obviously the ultimate, team in this era, and, the amount of Super Bowls that they've won, that they've been to. But you look at the 2019, team, and it's really just Chris Jones and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. And obviously, as they've been winning, as they've gone to Super Bowls, they've been turning over that roster. And I think the Ravens probably are in that spot now where you have an MVP-type quarterback. You have several other good players on the roster, but you probably need to start turning that thing over. And maybe that fresh perspective of input, maybe, younger players that you hit on in the draft, more of that will help, change the tide. But yeah, I think they are in that spot where this group, this core, has probably reached its peak, but doesn't necessarily mean that, they're not going to be contenders next year without some tweaks on the roster.
Omar, if they had just add this to me, because I had a feeling last week that, like, man, I don't have a lot of faith in the Ravens, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in anybody in the AFC at this point. Like, do you think it's as wide open as a lot of us do that, you know, I can't convince myself the Steelers really can make a run because they're just so limited, although I guess, you know, getting DK Metcalf back will help that. How wide open really is it in the AFC now?
Oh, completely. I think when you talk about, the list of quarterbacks, you know, you have Justin Herbert, Drake May, Bo Nix, just off the top of my head,
Trevor Lawrence,
have not won
right?
a playoff game. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game, but, you know, it's still to be unproven, I think, ultimately. And so, yeah, and because of that, and because you have, the two teams at the top, you know, with quarterbacks that have yet to win and win, you know, or win big, I think it is wide open. And I think it's, you know, who's going to be hot, who's going to play the best on Sunday, and there isn't a favorite. I think the Steelers getting TJ Watt back and DK Metcalf back, can have a chance. You know, they'd be one of those. I think this is going to be one of those years, Glenn, where we're going to look back at the Super Bowl champion and say, you know, they may not have been the best team in 2025, but on those particular Sundays that they played postseason football, they found ways to win. And I think it's the team that can do that 3 or 4 times is going to be the Super Bowl champion.
Makes it incredibly infuriating the Ravens weren't able to handle their business to get into the mix. At Omar D. Ruiz is how you follow him. Omar, you know where you're headed next?
I don't. Anticipating the call at some point today on my way to the airport, head back to L.A. and find out the playoff assignment here this afternoon.
And then then we can all say, whenever you find that out, they'll be able to say, Omar coming. Omar, appreciate you, brother. Tough day, obviously.
All right, Glenn, always a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you doing this.
Okay, no problem. Have a good day.
Omar Ruiz, NFL Network, with us here on GCR. I appreciate that, and I think there's going to be a lot of sentiment from a lot of folks. It's okay. I'm not offended that Omar Ruiz doesn't think the Ravens should make major changes, and specifically John Harbaugh. That's his right. That's his opinion. I think a lot of people are going to share that opinion. I had that opinion for a long time, as everybody knows. I no longer have that opinion. I think it's time. I can't justify that these things keep happening somehow, some way. And you can say, well, right, but they're a made field goal away from being in the playoffs. So they're a made field goal away from backdooring their way into the playoffs. I get it, it's the NFL, that happens, but that's not enough for me. It's not enough. CountySports.zone is the website. Everything you want to know about high school sports in the state of Maryland. It's been a busy season of high school basketball. A lot of big tournaments over the course of the last couple of weeks. You can get caught up on all of it. Scores, schedules, rankings, the whole deal. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Let's find out what this man thinks. Of course, one of our favorites. You know him from the We Bleed Purple podcast, but you really know him because he was a Ravens legend. All-around great man. Our friend, Dan Wilcox, with us this morning here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Man, I'm good, Glenn Griff. How you guys doing today, man? You
well,
good?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, like we can't lie. Dan, I can't sit here and lie to you in front of God and everybody. I'm not going to do that. We ain't good. It's a terrible day, man. It's what it is.
Yeah, we all every former player right now is definitely mourning this loss and pissed off about this loss, and trying to figure out, bro, like what the heck is Bashotti and Eric DeCosta gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody at this point wants to see some heads rolling and see what's happening, man. It's been 4 years, 5 years where it's been one disappointment after another, and I think only thing that you can do at this point is make some changes in the coaching staff.
Dan, I as you say that, I can't blame John Harbaugh for a lot of things, right? Like, I don't think it was John Harbaugh's fault 2 years ago in the AFC Championship game that Zay Flowers stretched the ball out. I don't think it was his fault that Mark Andrews dropped the ball in Buffalo last year. And it's certainly not his fault that his rookie kicker missed a kick last night. But I think there are things that are John Harbaugh's fault, right? Like I think it's his fault that he didn't call a timeout a couple weeks ago when they faced the Steelers and they had a mess on 3rd and 2 from the 5, and the entire pre-snap was a disaster, and everybody could see it, and they ended up losing 3 yards and went for it on 4th and 5. I think there are things that are John Harbaugh's fault, but in the end, he's the coach for all of it to me. Like that these things keep happening. I can't anymore just sit back and say, yeah, but they win enough that I can't see past it any longer. It is to me the story of this era of Ravens football that somehow, some way, in the biggest moments, these things just keep happening, and I think it's time.
Glenn, there's a lot of things that I look back upon in my career. You know, my career from playing, my career from coaching, and even also being, you know, the 1 year in the Ravens with the scouting department. You know, there's things that I always look back on, and there's always a hierarchy of events. It's the same thing with the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force. There's a hierarchy of who's in charge. And when you just go back to watch everything that's happened the last 3-4 years, and those things you just made, the things you just named was one-on-one individual mess ups or, you know, mishaps that happened over the last 3 or 4 years. An AFC Championship game, the Zay fumble, the Mark Andrews drop last year, you know, the field goal this year. You have to do situational football, and a lot of times it looks like we're just not ready for situations when we get into these big games. And I've been feeling like for the last 3 years we get out coached in big games. When you play against a team with a really good coach and a really good team, and we're a really good team with good coaches too, but I always feel like they come out on top. They come out on top because the game plan is better, the execution is better, the play calling is better, the defensive play calls are better, the offensive play calls are better, and I think we got the best talent in the league. I don't look at it like it's the players' fault all the freaking time, but when you have a star tight end that catches the ball, put the ball in the wrong arm, and then fumbles the ball on the sideline, and the other team gets it, or you get into a field goal situation and the kicker is under extreme pressure and you haven't practiced it in practice. And how do you replicate that in practice? You replicate it by, at the end of every practice, say, we're going to run 5 gassers. Yep. All right, call the special teams guys up, put them in a situation. You know, now the whole team is surrounding him, screaming and yelling at him, you know, wanting to see him miss this kick or make this kick, because if he make it, then nobody has to run. But if he miss it, the entire team has to run. That's extreme pressure on that kicker, you know. So you put him in those situations so that when he get into these type of situations in the game, he's already felt that pressure. It doesn't feel abnormal, you know. But there's been so many things that's happened over the last 3 years. And yeah, it came down to a Mark Andrews catch. Yeah, it came down to a Zay Flowers dive in the end zone. Yeah, it come down to a Tyler Luke kick at the end of the game. But should it have came to that though? Like should it have came down to that one play? Should it be left in the referee's hand for Isaiah Likely to catch a ball and take 3 steps in the end zone with it? You know, we had this saying as players and coaches when I was in Baltimore: either you're coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. So when you watch Daniel Falele go out there week in and week out every single week, and he's not blocking a freaking soul, and he still start next week, and he start the week after that, and he start the week after that, and he start the week after that, and start the week after that. Even last night, that miraculous play that Lamar threw to Zay, he should have been sacked. That was Daniel Falele. He ain't blocked nobody on the play. He sat there and watched Lamar dip out of that play and make that awesome throw to Zay. And when I think about those type of plays, it makes me sick to my stomach. It's like, why in the hell is this guy still in the game? In any other position, anybody make those type of mistakes, they're ejected right away. Ejected. So you mean to tell me we can't find nobody else to replace this guy? Nobody that'll give more effort than what he's giving? To me, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. And head coaches have to coach coaches. Coaches have to coach players. You know, so a head coach, if you're not coaching your players enough, your coaches enough, and you're not on their ass enough, then it's your fault. I'm sorry. I love John. I just, at this point, I don't know what else to say. I feel like you have wasted Lamar's talent for the last 5 years, and this man should have at least 3 Super Bowls right now. And I just don't understand why we're not in that situation.
Dan, I want to follow up on a couple of things that you said there, because we're in agreement at this point about it. And look, I do think the players have to be accountable, and sometimes it is on them in certain situations. But the totality of it, like that, this stuff keeps happening. I can't escape it. I want to cover a couple of things with you. I'm flummoxed about a couple beyond whatever they do with John Harbaugh. I'm flummoxed about like where they really are roster-wise, because you said something in there about I think the talent is good enough, and I think that I felt that way coming into this year, and I've been a little alarmed, right? Like it's funny. Roquan Smith got named to a Pro Bowl, and I think a lot of us that have watched every game would say that we think Roquan Smith is as much part of the problem as he is part of the solution. 100%. I don't know that I feel like this roster is still ascending at this point. It feels like the core of the roster may be on the downside. Like Marlon Humphrey, who I love, has been getting his ass kicked now for a couple.
Yeah, he need to go.
I worry that at this point, and none of it means, like, I want to make it abundantly clear. Anybody who thinks that the answer is trade Lamar Jackson and sort of stop. Like,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, spare me. But I do think that part of the problem is, like, if I saw a young core, then I could maybe argue, like, hey, all right, things didn't go their way injury-wise, but I'm really worried that the core of this group is on the other side of this conversation.
I'm upset about, as I watched Roquan throughout the year, he's talented enough. It's not even a question about his talent. It's not a question about his skill or anything like that. Like I said, Glenn, you're either coaching it or you allowing it to happen. So week in and week out, you're either coaching Roquan to not play at a high level and or you're allowing it to happen. You're allowing him not to play at a high level because you have to hold him accountable as a coach. When you go in there and if you sit there and film and you watch 60 plays of Roquan Smith, not finishing to the ball, and you saying, great job, Roquan, great job, Roquan. He don't know that he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He think he's doing what he's supposed to. This is a great fit by you, Ro. You got to back him up. You jumping on somebody else's ass because you're not going to hit on your star player. Your star player got to be able to get it as much as anybody. And he's had games this year where we was like, oh, my God, Roquan balled out. He had 3-4 games like that.
That first Browns game this year, he was brilliant, right? He's the best player on the field.
Absolutely. And so if you could get that quality of play out of him during the Browns, you need to be working your ass off as a coach to try to get it from him every single week. And like I said, you either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. So when I look at the Daniel Falele situation, the same thing. He's been missing blocks all year long. So you either coaching him to miss blocks or you just allowing him to miss blocks. So you have to figure out, whether or not this guy is good enough to play for you. If he's not, then you need to put somebody else in a position that's going to give you more effort, because all his stuff is just effort. It's nothing about athletic ability. It's nothing about size. It's nothing about strength. It's nothing about weakness. It's just effort. His effort is piss poor week in and week out. So when I look at the Roquan situation, the Marlon Humphrey situation, it's the same thing for me, Glenn. Is you either coaching it or you allowing it to happen. So they need to come from their position coach, and then it should go through their DC or the OC, or then it should go through the head coach. The head coach should be the last line of defense to kind of put the hammer down. Like Derrick Henry had 12 carries the first half, 100 and some yards, 5 carries the second half. It's like, bro, what's up? Like, we already know. Like, we just had a game last week where the man hit his head on the goalpost and he ran the ball 36 times. Feed the freaking beast. It's like you cannot. If this was basketball or baseball, it's Steph Curry. He's hot. He's hitting 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. You don't sit him down on the bench when he's hot. You give him the ball. You keep telling your players, hey, find a way to get the ball to Steph. He's hot right now. When Derrick Henry is hot, find a way to give him the ball. He's hot right now. Nobody wants to tackle that man 30-some times a game, bro. I know this ain't when I played. Everyone we played with, everybody would get the ball 30 times every game in the running back field, in the backfield. But nowadays, if everybody's passing and you need to control the clock because your defense is suspect as hell, like they've been all year long, by now you should realize as an offensive coordinator that I got to do something to keep my defense off the field. Yeah. So I need to run the ball and kill this clock as much as I possibly can. And we've only seen one example of him doing that all year, and that was last week against Green Bay.
Dan Wilcox is with us here on GCR. Dan, earlier today, Josina Anderson tweeted out, league sources have been anticipating potential change at the coordinator level in Baltimore. Stay tuned
Offense
for the
and
latest.
defense.
And that I would throw in special teams as well, Dan, right? Because I know Jordan Stout had a hell of a year, but the kick coverage was miserable all season long. I mean, miserable all year. Right. And, another kick out of bounds from Tyler Loop last night. I don't know how any of the coordinators could feel comfortable, but I guess the question is, can this work? Like, could John, if that's her way of saying that she believes the Ravens are retaining John Harbaugh but making coordinator changes, can it work with John Harbaugh if he's back with a new group of coordinators?
I think it can. My biggest issue is who's he going to hire?
Right.
Is it only left to him? Is it left up to John just to hire these guys? Because if it's left up to him and he's been hiring the guys that he's been hiring, I don't think he's the right guy for the job. You got to bring in somebody that's going to be dynamic and that's going to be cutting edge, that's going to be able to handle a quarterback like a Lamar Jackson and put him in the best situation possible. To me, this shit ain't rocket science, Glenn. Lamar, what are you comfortable with? What plays do you like the most? And then take those plays and then do a bunch of spinoffs of those plays, so that he's very comfortable in every aspect of the game. He should be able to call his own plays at this point, but every time you switch an OC, you're starting back to the kindergarten level, and then you have to work your way back up to the varsity level, so it's kind of hard, man. Like I really hate that they would be having to switch coordinators, but when they brought Monken in, I wasn't super enthused about it at the time. He had never had a quarterback like Lamar at UGA. He damn sure didn't have one like that at Cleveland,
right.
So it's like I don't know why you would go get a guy like him to come in, and I'm not hating on Monken at all because I think he's done a great job with what he's had, and I know how it feels to be an OC, and it's extremely hard to try to make sure everybody's happy when you have the amount of talent that we've had on offense. I mean, we're extremely gifted on the offensive side of the ball with all the mistakes, but like I keep saying, Glenn, we either coaching it or we're allowing it to happen. Like all these things that you see, all these things that we're all frustrated about our team, I feel like all those things are coaching issues that could have been rectified earlier in the preseason or the offseason or whatever, and they never got rectified, so they started showing up during the regular season.
Dan, I say this, I have been rough on Tyler Loop all season, not because maybe Tyler Loop is going to be an NFL kicker, but this is a league in which kickers are regularly drilling kicks from 57 to 60 yards. Obviously, the kid in Jacksonville is drilling them from 70 yards, but he came up short on a 56-yarder. He led the league in kicks out of bounds at a time where you can't just blast the ball through the end zone on a kickoff anymore because it's going to put the ball at the 35. You need to be able to deliver kickoffs down to the corner and try to give your team a chance to go cover. I've been tough on him all year. I'm surprised that he missed that kick last night, right? Like that's a 44-yarder. That's a college kicker that needs to be a gimme for him. All that being said, what do you do? Do you just say, hey, we spent a draft pick on him. We decided he's our guy. We've got to show faith in him and belief in him. I had thought that they needed to try to bring in some competition for him. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the answer isn't just you're not solving for Tyler Loop. You need to solve for kicker. And I don't have enough reason to believe that Tyler Loop is definitively an NFL kicker, that if there's somebody available this offseason, I'd probably prioritize just going and getting a kicker. Where are you at this point?
I'm frustrated because I feel like the kid shouldn't have been put in that position last night. So if you go to the root of it, we got the ball back. I mean, he had a horrible kickoff, that put the Steelers in position to go down and score. He had a horrible kickoff, kicked the ball out of bounds. The Steelers go down and score, and they field goal kicker had missed the extra point all year and missed the extra point. That automatically tell you that it's windy outside. Something's wrong. Something's not right. You should have been checking every single thing, picking up a piece of grass like Ray and just letting it fall and see where it blows or something. I don't know. At that point, you knew something was off. He do a kickoff, it goes out of bounds. Then the Steelers kicker kick the extra point, misses it, which makes us behind by 2. Then you kick off. We have a huge return with Keaton Mitchell, and then your first play, you run the ball with Derrick Henry. When everybody know you was going to do it. If he's in the game, everybody think he's going to get the ball. So it should have been a play action call right off rip, and then let Lamar throw it and put the ball in your best player hand, who still is Lamar Jackson to me. And then you keep Henry in the entire drive, and then eventually you hand the ball off to him and let him run it down their throat. Then at the end, we had 12 seconds on the clock. We could have got another play in. We had timeouts. We had everything we needed to go down the field in 59 seconds to score, and not put it in the kid's hand. At least get as close as you could to the end zone. Heck of a catch by Isaiah Likely, heck of a throw, heck of a move by Lamar to get free to be able to throw that ball to Likely. And then you put the kid in a situation where the wind was really windy, really loud, last game of the season, everything's riding on this one kick. And then you expect the kid to go out there and have, ice in his veins and make a kick. that he probably hadn't even practiced in that type of environment or that type of vibe, or you probably ain't put that type of pressure on him all year long and expect for this kid to come through in a situation where another kicker just missed an extra point that was even closer, So I'm not blaming it all on Tyler Luke. That's a hard situation for anybody to be in. If you're standing at a free throw line in a basketball game, you're trying to make that shot and you've never made it all year, how do you expect to make it in the moment where it's the scariest moment of your life, and you got to have ice in your veins. You hated everything that happened with Justin Tucker last year, and then this type of stuff makes you wish you had him. So I don't know what I definitely think you got to put some. I definitely know that you got to put some pressure on him as far as bringing somebody else in so he can compete for the spot. And I think the kid is going to do every single thing he can this offseason to never be in that position again where he's under that type of immense pressure and feeling nervous about a kick like that.
It's going to be an interesting couple of days, interesting couple of weeks as the Ravens make some decisions as to what this looks like moving forward. Dan, you want to remind everybody about what you're doing on the We Bleed Purple podcast?
Absolutely, Glenn. Thanks, man. I appreciate the shout out. The We Bleed Purple podcast. We're on YouTube, Facebook, IG, Twitter, X, TikTok. We're on every single thing. But We Bleed Purple podcast is it's myself and Matt Trigger, and we're constantly covering everything about the Baltimore Ravens every single week. We'll be locked in again, and we shoot live, on YouTube and Facebook, so you get a chance to jump on both platforms and interact with us. It's been pretty cool so far. It's our first time this season going solo. We're breaking off on our own, doing our own thing, man. It's been fun all year, Glenn. It just has been a hectic season this year with Baltimore, and it hasn't been a great time to talk about Ravens football. It's just been a up and down year, and I feel like this is the worst season we've had in a long time. And I just can't believe we ended the season 8-9 with the roster that we've had and the coaching staff that we've had. There's been too many things wrong and not enough things right.
We agree wholeheartedly on that particular topic. By the way, that all black Braves hat, bro, that is fire, man. I got caught up in the height of like Outcast Ludacris, and I had a couple of the throwback Braves hats, like with that lowercase a that I was wearing for a minute. Man, that is a fire all black Braves hat. I love that. That one.
Thank you, bro.
That one's
Thank
great.
You, bro. I'm mourning right now, Glenn. I'm in mourning.
Dude,
so
I get all black, man. I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all. I didn't feel like getting ready this morning when I woke. I'm like, God, we gotta go.
I was just talking to Stevie Baggs. You remember Stevie Baggs?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just talking to him about an hour before I came on the show, and he was the first thing he said, like, bro, what happened last night? I was like, bro, we all sick. All the players are sick.
I believe
Corey
it, man.
Ivy. Corey Ivy, all of us, we all sick right now. Ed, Ray, all of us. We trying to figure out, like, what the heck are we doing? I hate it. Like, if Harbaugh gets fired, it's going to change the dynamics of everything. So none of the former players want to see that happen, but we just feel like at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. Like I said, you either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen.
Yep.
And head coach's job are to coach their coaches.
Dan Wilcox, love you, brother. No doubt we're going to have reasons to be talking here in the next couple of weeks and months. Thank you, as always, taking the time for us. Let's do it soon, all right?
Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate you, bro.
Great Dan Wilcox with us here on GCR. Always appreciate him taking the time. Yeah, I agree, John. It's time for the owner to speak. I mean, I am of the opinion, and I always want to say it the right way, right? It is not what we want. It is not an obligation. So, like, for example, when David Rubenstein has been present at press conferences this year, I've tried to say it as I appreciate him choosing to do that because you don't have to do that. I hate it when we say that. Well, they have to do that. Well, they don't. That is not in the, hey, we'll give you $600 million of state money, but that means you have to answer questions. You don't have to do it. But I think you should want to do it. I think you should want to be accountable in whatever form that is, or for the fan base to hear from you. It's a complicated thing for me to say, right? Because famously, I was bothered by. It always felt like when Steve Bisciotti talked, it mattered. It wasn't just him playing poker the way that, like when John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta speak, like you can kind of ignore half the things they say because they're just playing poker. They feel like they're talking to their next opponent. They're not talking to you. But Steve Bisciotti always felt like if he said something, then it mattered. And when the year, obviously, was it 2018? Yeah, 2018, Steve Bisciotti does the end-of-year press conference, says, quarterback is not our problem. We are not – that's not what we're doing. And then they turn around and draft a quarterback. It sort of felt like, well, it turns out Steve's just playing poker too, right? Like, he's in on the game and he's in on the bit. And I get it. Like, when you're trying to pull off something like what the Ravens were trying to pull off, where they didn't want anyone to know that they were interested in Lamar Jackson. And look, it's worked out marvelously. Then everybody's got to be in on the bit, right? Like, I do understand, but it also made it seem less valuable to me because, again, if it's all just a game, then why play it? But yeah, do I want to hear from the owner? I do. I think that the owner of a professional sports franchise that asks for support from the community should be willing to make himself available. I do feel that way. Obviously, he's not going to do it until whatever decisions are made that are going to be made. It's not. There's nothing to me that. Somebody asked, do we read into the fact that the Ravens are having the players clean out the lockers today, but John Harbaugh isn't speaking? No, they've done that on different days and different times. There's not been a tradition that they do both in the same day. I think there was once upon a time. They would try to knock everything out on the same day, but that's not been the practice. I mean, some years John was waiting to see if like another coordinator was going to get a job, and I don't know how they're going to handle that this week. The players are going to be available today, or whoever wants to, because a lot of them will choose not to speak to the media. I don't know what new there is to say today that there wasn't to say last night, right? Still lost. That sucks.
Well, you should know now.
I mean,
if they're bringing Lamar back,
right.
that kind of thing.
Well, I get, like somebody would say, hey, if you thought that it was unfair to ask Lamar about what do you think about bringing John back last night? Then maybe today is a better day to ask those questions because it's not 5 minutes after a football game, a heartbreaking end to a football game. And we talked about that on Project Game Day. If you missed Project Game Day, final game day of the season, we got together last night, the whole crew, including Tyus. You can go find that. As soon as this show ends, go watch that show. PressBoxOnline.com/gameday. It's been fun doing it all year long. It's been great to have Tyus involved. Bummer that it's over. Wish that wasn't the case, but we don't get to control that. So go find that. It's been brought to you all season long by 1-800-GAMBLER. HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costas Inn Live Casino and Hotel. And, man, it just kind of is what it is. There's no way around it. Pete Carroll is out in Las Vegas as expected. I know. It's unbelievable, right? Who would have thought? He's out in Las Vegas. Kevin Stefanski's out in Cleveland, joining Raheem Morris in Atlanta, who was fired last night. And we will see if that list grows. We know that Cincinnati has already said they're keeping Zach Taylor, so there won't be a change there. Who knows where there may still be changes that will be made.
The Giants want John Harbaugh? Is that the
what?
Yeah.
Who said that?
I guess we gotta find it. Hold on, I can't remember.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, I just didn't see. I didn't see that. So.
I think the report was like that they want Stefanski, but they were waiting because apparently John Harbaugh.
Okay, it's from Ian O'Connor, who is he still? Yeah, he's at the Athletic still, and he's an author. He's written a few books. He said, as we sit here right now, I think Kevin Stefanski is the leader in the Giants clubhouse. The team has had internal conversations about John Harbaugh, as you would expect, in case he leaves the Ravens. Harbaugh would hurdle Stefanski if he's free. And, okay, yeah, sure. Now, to the point that they'd be willing to try to trade for him, I just don't know that there's a team that's willing to trade for coaches any longer. I just think those days are kind of done. Like, if you don't want him anymore, then is that Ron?
Yeah, it
course it's Ron. If you don't want him anymore, I tell him we're going to take a break, but I'll let him talk. If you don't want him anymore, then why are we trading for him? Like, I would be very surprised by that. I do think the Giants are desirable, though, and I had said that I thought that it would make sense, if the Steelers were going to move on from Mike Tomlin, I thought that would be a logical spot. I think that's a desirable job at the moment with an organization that's not, on the whole, as incompetent as, say, the Jets. Like, they have figured out ways to win championships, and they appear to have a quarterback. I get it. You got to convince him to stop playing like he's part of the cast of Jackass. Like, I understand that you have to do something with that, but they appear to have a quarterback. They have a running back and a wide receiver. Like, there is something there. And I do think, as I alluded to in my column and I brought up with you guys last week, as I was speaking to some league sources about what their gut was related to John Harbaugh, I did have someone ask me, do you think that John might just want to do something else? And as I said, I think we were talking about this with Drew, I texted him, like, are you asking or are you telling? And I never really got, like, a definitive answer, and that just might be because it's somebody hearing something from somebody, and so they don't really actually know. But I don't know, maybe if I'm John Harbaugh and I'm thinking it's getting stale here and there's a place where they desire me and they have a nice nucleus, maybe that intrigues me. Maybe that's something that I'd be interested in doing. His daughter's grown up now. It's possible. I don't have any reason to think John Harbaugh wants out. And to be fair, he was asked last night, and clearly in the immediate aftermath of a crushing loss, he was like, yeah, I love these guys. I want to be back. I don't know. It could just be him saying something in that moment.
He's like, yeah, as long as, this person's not back. He says, starts throwing players under the bus that he didn't like.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
That's what he should have done last night.
Right. But yeah, it's apparently DraftKings has John Harbaugh at 14-1 to be the next Giants head coach. They have Jeff Hafley as the betting favorite, followed by Mike McCarthy, Lou Anarumo, who I think I saw is going to interview for
Titans interviewing everybody.
Titans. Yeah, the Titans job. And Clint Kubiak, of course, the son of Gary Kubiak as well. All right, we got to get a break. When we come back in, we are going to go over slaps in the helmet for this game. We will take a look at picks from the rest of the weekend. All that's still to come as we continue along here on a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. and it's our annual Best Of issue, celebrating the top people, performances, and moments of 2025 in local sports. On the cover, we recognize 4 of the most significant athletes of the year: Orioles pitcher Trevor Rogers, Navy quarterback Blake Horvath, Maryland basketball star Derek Queen, and our 2025 Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Ravens safety Kyle Hamilton. Pressbox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
This January, go for the gold at Live Casino and enter to win the ultimate winter experience. Earn the entire month of January, and on Saturday, January 24th, you could be one of 25 lucky winners to take their place on the podium and win a share of $50,000 in prizes, including a trip to the 2026 Winter Games in Milano Cortina. Let the games begin at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue after the Ravens season-ending loss. Okay, go ahead. Let me talk to him. Ron, what's going on, pal? How are you?
Good morning. I've been all right, Glenn. How are you?
I'm not great, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, could always be worse.
That's true. That is true. It could be worse.
I'm trying to be normal today. But so Glenn, I know you always say when you do this business, it's not about being right. Which I know, but you, to be fair to you, I'm not saying I want to give you credit because it's an awful thing that had happened, but you did consistently all year mention things about Luke that I actually think other people ignored the whole year.
Yeah, Ron, this is and I hope you don't think that I'm saying you when I say this. I hate it. It's the height of internet weirdoism, right? And it's not just it's all of us. It's all of us.
Yeah, sure.
I have no the number of people that if you think I'm going to take it, and I'm saying you, all right? I'm not saying you, Ron, but the internet. If you on the internet think I'm going to take a victory lap about Tyler Loop, it's just so detached from reality for me. I make observations about what I see. I don't.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. I was not insinuating
and
that
Ron,
you're
but
taking
it's
pride
more
in
than
it.
it's more than just you. I'm not. Again, this isn't about you. This is a broader statement I'm trying to make. What I said, Ron, what I said to you a couple weeks ago, and it again, I get it. You've been on the John Harbaugh thing for some time, but it's just being right about something is valueless. It is of no help, and also we're wrong. I agree. We're all wrong about so many things that it doesn't matter that there's one time that we're right.
You're right.
We're so lost in this kind of internet culture and the social media of it all that genuinely last night I think people were expecting that I'm going to go on some sort of victory lap about Tyler Loop. I effing hate it. I hate it. It hurts me to my soul. I hurt for that kid. I hurt for everybody that went out there and was excited, and for my kids that would have loved to have watched a playoff game with me. Well, that would have been Monday night, so they couldn't have stayed up. But you get the point, right?
Of course.
It hurt. I hurt for all of it. Being right on the internet is of no value to me. None.
I get it. I'm just saying in all of your post-game shows, it was a common theme that there were issues there. There
were issues all season long, and I think that we have to have a serious, or I don't think they're going to invite me to be a part of it. Whoever is the coach and whoever is the general manager, they have to have a conversation where I think all year there's been this sense that you have to solve for Tyler Loop, right? You have to let a rookie kicker develop, and you have to, and that's not, it's bunk. No one forced them to put a rookie kicker on their team. And if being a rookie was going to impact him in a big spot and he wasn't going to be ready for it, then it doesn't matter if he's going to be good in a few years. And a lot of people have made the comparison.
Let me ask this.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But let me ask this. So last night, I hear it both ways, and I want to get your take on it, and let's just talk about it for really quick. The 15 seconds left, you have a timeout.
Yes, I definitely think they should have been running at least. I absolutely think worst case scenario, they should have tried to gain yards on the ground. I thought in the immediate, and I don't even know if I sent the text or the tweet or not, but at one point during that I said, I'm very worried the Ravens will just get into field goal range and stop trying. Now, again, then when they were faced with 4th and 7, it was kind of a miracle they got into field goal range. But as the drive got going, I was very worried about that because of the uniqueness of the spot that they were in with a kicker that they had zero reason to have faith in whatsoever. And I get it.
So if you run the play, and let's just say, like, I don't think you can coach obviously, so let's just take it a couple different ways. Let's say they're running with Henry and Henry fumbles and they lose that way, okay? Let's just say that happens and Henry fumbles. Yes, okay, I'm not going to – I'm being honest with myself. I don't think I would criticize John just because of my shtick, but I actually don't think it would be John's – it would be Derek's fault. You can't fumble there. Obviously, Derek would get a lot of blame. I think, though, like, in that situation – yes, there's risk on any play, but, like, I think the safe thing to do for a rookie kicker there is to just run one more play and get a couple extra yards. He may have shanked it regardless, but there is something to be said for mentally having a 40-yard field goal, 39-yard field. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. Well, I think they had enough time.
Right. I would add to that I think a lot of people are going to say, well, look, the Steelers are going to stuff the box there because they know you're just trying to run and get a couple more yards. Well, if that's the case, then tell Lamar to check out of it and go get 14 yards on a slant. Like, throw a touchdown pass if it's there.
Yeah, it depends what they're in, obviously. But at that point, I think the Steelers were, like, deflated. I don't think they would have – look, they would have played hard on any play. Anything can happen on one play. To be fair to John, I get the standpoint of, hey, we don't want something bad to happen, and which has happened a lot this year, to be fair, and we want to at least get a kickoff. I'm trying to fit – like, from John's perspective – the goal is to at least get a kick up there. He has to make that. He should make it. But to your point, he had not had a big kick this whole year, okay? And he's a rookie kicker. So, like, I think you got to do everything possible to make the kick as easy as possible. That's why that was the only thing. And if you said it in real time, you were worried about that. I didn't.
It was before the, and I don't even know if because there was so much going on. It was before the 14-second mark. It was after they got the initial first down. Okay. And then got another positive play, and obviously ended up being wiped out by the Ronnie Stanley penalty. But, like, in that moment, I legitimately was thinking to myself, I'm very worried they're just going to get to what they think is good enough field goal range, and they're going to stop trying. And given what I did not have any faith that Tyler Loop was going to make the kick. Now, again, I'm still surprised he missed a 44-yarder because, to be fair, he had made all of his short kicks this season. Of course. I am still surprised.
In that moment, it's a win or go home. We've never seen him before. He didn't have any game winners or losers on the year. He didn't really have any pressure kick. I mean, this is different than any of the pressure kicks earlier. But to be fair, he was never given a tough pressure. I don't remember one. Do you?
No, he hadn't. He had not made a kick of consequence. Like, nothing.
So, I mean, I get it. Like, as much as I hate John, and again, coming into this game, I was one of those people that said, "Oh, this game is no." Like, if they make a change, you look at the whole thing. But, like, I understand John's perspective of wanting to get the kickoff, but, like, in my opinion, forget, like, the Harbaugh, like, if that was not the case, just strict coaching-wise, I think you just don't coach scared there. You run one more play with Henry. He'll at least give you, if they stack the box, like you said, you can throw a slant, but I think you're getting another 4 to 5 yards. I think we did do that in the Titans-Ravens playoff game. I remember with, like, Ray Rice when Stover hit a field goal.
Yeah, in the divisional round, yep.
I think they had a similar I have to go back. It's been so long, but I'm pretty sure they had a question of whether or not to run another play.
That was Flacco's rookie season. That was 2008.
Yes,
right?
That was.
Yeah.
Yes, that was. Yes, it was. It was the Flacco's first or second playoff win. Maybe I don't remember, but it was on the road, and Stover hit a game-winning field goal. And I think, Stover is different, obviously, than this kicker, but. But Stover was older,
they knew he couldn't make long kicks at that point.
They knew he couldn't make long kicks, and it was actually like they did. I thought it was smart because Stover throughout the year was missing long kicks, and they let Ray Rice run it, and they got like another 4 to 5 yards. Then they centered the ball like John did to whatever, and Stover kicked it. I'm just saying that's probably what I would have done, Glenn, but. That's all I got. I hope you enjoy the Australian Open. I hope I see you at the City Open. No hard feelings. You know I love you. It's part of this is the entertainment business.
Yes.
But it's all good.
Love you, buddy. We'll talk soon.
All right.
It was not a similar. I did just look it up. There was 1:04 left, so they were still trying to be aggressive to prevent the Titans from getting the ball back in that spot. So it's not an apples to apples comparison. And again, that alone, I think what Ron said there, and I'll give Ron some credit. I don't think what happened last night is the fireable offense. Like, it's far more egregious not taking the timeout in the first Pittsburgh game when everything was a complete mess at the line of scrimmage and you're dealing with a 3rd and 2 situation. Like, that's egregious. This is debatable. I don't think there's any debate that it's insane to just voluntarily give up yards and make that kick longer. Like, that's insane. Spare me the, well, yeah, but Derrick Henry fumbled 4 times. How many times did Derrick Henry touch the ball this season?
I don't know, 1,000? No, it's not.
It's not 1,000. It's definitely
300, probably, right?
We can get this answer. Hang on a second. We have the internet. Derrick Henry. Oh, this year in 2025, he had 307 rushing attempts and 15 catches.
All right,
so he had 322 touches and 4 fumbles, right?
327? Yeah, whatever.
320. No, 307 plus 15 is 322.
Oh, I thought it was
322. Yeah. So you do that math. It sounds to me like there's about a 4 into 322. So 4 into 400 would be 1 in 100. So it's a little bit more than 1 in 100, but not
4 times, right?
It's not quite 2%. It's somewhere between 1 and 2%, right? The odds
1.2%.
1.2%.
Yes.
1.2% chance of Derrick Henry fumbling the ball in that spot.
It's pretty high. Also, that's not the exact. I mean, I guess I don't know. Well, you would think in this situation he'd maybe have 2 hands on the football.
Well, yeah, that would be the number one priority in that spot, would be protecting the ball. And look, somebody would say on the flip side that, but yet that would be the only thing that the Steelers defenders would be willing to give up more yards in that spot, just trying to rip at the football, right? Okay. So balance those 2 things against each other. I think it comes out in the wash. But I at least can hear the thought process. I just think it was incorrect. I think it was built with an amount of hubris in a kicker that they want to be good, but has not been good. Not good enough. Sorry. That's no, not good.
He's not been good.
Not good.
Every kicker.
It's tough. It's really tough.
I can't get the visual.
But I have to be honest.
Him coming short on a 55-yard field goal.
I understand.
Out of my brain.
It's bad. It's very bad.
When there are guys making 67 yards.
But Chris Boswell is one of the best kickers in the NFL and missed an extra point. But
that's what he missed 2 kicks all year.
I understand, but I have to measure all of these things. I do have to measure all of them. It's a totality thing with me with Tyler Loop. It's if it was just the long kicks, I don't know. Maybe I would say, but it came on the heels of maybe him not being able to handle the moment. How did someone who had been much better in the last couple of weeks in the kickoff game, and he had been, and I had been as hard on him as anybody, but I acknowledge the last couple of weeks in the kickoff game he had been nails. We talked about it on the postgame show last week. He had been nails in the kickoff game for the last couple of weeks, only for that to happen. And it felt like it was the moment. I have to deliver a good kickoff here. I have to pin them back. I have to make it count that we just went down and scored. And here it comes again. I just did not have any faith in Tyler Loop. They did. They chose. That was their choice from the get-go. It was always possible the season was going to come down to 1 kick. And 1 kick in Pittsburgh. And 1 kick. It was always possible that was going to be the case. And I understand the argument that, every year the kickers that are available aren't really good enough, so you're trying to find your next Justin Tucker. That's why you draft your kicker. We talked about it last year when Justin Tucker was going through his struggles. I said, you try to draft your kicker. I get it. But if he wasn't going to be ready to be nails on day 1, and there was enough in there throughout the course of the season to make you question about whether or not he was going to be nails. You didn't need to have a rookie kicker. Now, would it have been different if I don't even know who's a kicker that's on the beach right now? Younghoe Koo kicking into the turf. Would it have been different if he was the one making the kick? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how they go about handling it moving forward. Before that kick last night, my opinion was bring in a veteran kicker to compete. Stack the deck for Tyler Loop. Don't make it a draft pick. Don't make it something that you're invested. Go get a veteran kicker that's out there. And there's a reason why they're out there. But they've kicked before, and they've made pressure kicks.
Or whichever guy comes from the USFL this spring. And,
right, yeah. With Jake Bates. I get it. Are they doing the USFL again?
Are they not really?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm asking.
They better.
Did they do it?
What am I going to be watching this?
Did they do it last year?
Yes.
Did they?
They did, yeah.
I don't remember.
I want to say Birmingham one.
Yes, people just didn't bother faking that they were watching it. I did appreciate that.
I watched one of the semifinal games.
Okay, good for you.
And I was like, oh, that guy.
Mm-hmm. Sure, whoever it is. I don't know, but again, I don't know how different that is than a draft pick, right? Like, I would bring in a veteran kicker that was my plan. Try to push Tyler Loop. I still can't get over on August 2nd, they cut their competition for Tyler Loop. Not that I think that John Hoyland was going to be the answer. It was what Dan Wilcox alluded to. I want as much pressure on this kicker as possible.
Birmingham Stallions are a 2-time defending champions.
Great. Good for them. Yeah. That's what I wanted. And on August 2nd, they bailed on a competition. They decided that day, we've got our guy. It's insane to me. It was insane to me then. I said it. That's crazy. This dude, I hope he's good. But doesn't it make sense to push him? Do everything you can to try to prepare him for the pressure of making these types of kicks. And on August 2nd, they bailed. They said, we're not going to do that. And their argument was, we need the roster spot. At a time where you're allowed to have 90 players on the roster. 90.
Maybe it was 85 at that time. I don't know. I can't remember.
On August 2nd?
Yeah, I guess it was probably.
I don't think it was.
Well, they already played the Hall of Fame game. And
they hadn't played a preseason game.
The Ravens hadn't played.
The Ravens hadn't played a preseason game yet. Had they played the Hall of Fame game? I thought they moved the Hall of Fame game into August.
Maybe they played it like August 1st.
I don't know. We're spending way too much time on that particular. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Oh, by the way, as we get into the offseason, we're going back to 1 hour. I want to make that abundantly clear.
Well, we've always been at 1 hour.
No, we haven't. I've let it get away. That's on me. It's my fault. I accept blame for it.
July 31st.
Okay. All right.
There
you go.
You're
right. Not a Hall of Fame game guy. But we are definitely going to go back to the 1 hour again here really shortly. All this to say, I do think that it all adds up. I think it's all part of the story. WBAL's calling me.
Right now?
Yeah.
They're saying, your 1 hour's up. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's time. It's time. I'll call them back in a minute. All right, let's get a picks recap, and let's do slaps. We'll do those two things. We don't need to spend a lot of time on picks recap, although it was, in the end, a better week for me, unfortunately, because the Ravens lost. I hate that that's the reason why I ended up having a 6-3 week. I was not the high water mark. There were some big numbers, including a real push right now from Jeremy Kahn. Griffin was feeling good about going 6-3, but Jeremy still got a 4-game lead. I get it. Fewer games. There's only 16 games left for us to pick this season.
So I can't lose then? I clinch a non-losing season? I cannot lose
because you're
picks.
18 games over 500. Well, yeah, you definitely can't lose the picks. Hang on a second.
No, I've got a 17-game lead.
With 18. No, 16
games.
16 Sorry, 16 games.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're good. Okay. Congratulations. You can't lose.
Thank you.
You got that going for you.
I'd like to thank.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. All right, let's go over it. We picked 5 college games, the 4 playoff games. The only person that was on Cincinnati was Ryan Chell. Oh, what did we know what Drew's record was for the week?
Yes, I put it there on the right hand side. You should be able to see it.
On the right hand side. What right hand? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, rough week.
Yeah. So he finished under.
Wait a second.
He picked the Ravens,
and he finished tied for last.
Yes.
He went 4-5.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That was tied for the low water mark this week. Correct.
Yeah.
So
were we doing it just us four, or was it everyone?
No, it was in general. If he finished in last.
Oh, okay. If he finished in, he had to finish in last.
Yeah, or tied for last counts as last.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna eat it anyway. Yeah.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. All right, yeah. Navy. It got off to a bit of a sluggish start because they were playing in the rain in Memphis, but ultimately pulled away from Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl. Incredible accomplishment, really, for Navy. Just an amazing 2 years. Unreal. Back-to-back bowl wins over major conference teams, back-to-back wins over Army, back-to-back Commander-in-Chief trophies, back-to-back all of it. I mean, it's just an incredible 2-year run for Navy. It's a shame that they didn't get into the American Championship game and have a chance to play in the playoff, but unreal what they did, as they did ultimately pull away from Cincinnati in the second half, and only Ryan Shell was on Cincinnati.
Come on, Ryan.
I don't know. Miami, Ohio State, crazy. I mean, really crazy. You know, as I said, if Miami beats Ohio State, I believe they can beat anybody, and I certainly believe they can beat Ole Miss. I want to say that, like, Indiana looks unbeatable, but I don't know that I actually feel that way. Like, we're pretending like Oregon didn't play them very close. I have no idea yet how I feel about them. I understand that. They deserve to be the favorites. Nobody's debating that. But I don't know that they're unbeatable. The Miami defense was relentless. I mean, they were all over the place. Very impressive. Obviously, not only covering, but winning outright. Griffin, Andrew, Kyle, and Ryan were all on Miami there. Oregon, no trouble with Texas Tech. I mean, they weren't impressive offensively, but that's a really good Texas Tech defense. But Texas Tech, I think they could have been playing for another hour and still might not have scored a point. It was just never happening for Texas Tech. Only a few of us, James, John in Little Rock, Kyle, and Ryan, were on the Raiders. Indiana, it was a big number, and they covered it by a billion. By a billion. We got to do something about these blowouts in the college football playoff. We can't let teams like Alabama. It's not fair to them. I mean, they should maybe create their own national championship game to compete for, like, the teams that aren't good enough to be in the college football playoff.
That's what they need to do? Yeah.
Alabama gets throttled by Indiana. A couple of actually, there were a bunch of Alabama backers because of the number. It was kind of split there. So those of us that were on Indiana, myself, Andrew, Jeremy, James, Kyle, and Paul all got that one. And then the best game, obviously, was Ole Miss, Georgia. Phenomenal game. And Ole Miss not only covers but wins outright. So myself, Griffin, Andrew, James, John, and KZ, and Ryan were all in Georgia and missed that one.
They have to continue without their quarterback, their coaching staff.
That's right.
You know, nobody else sticking around.
Lane Kiffin said, you're not allowed to have them. Shameful from Tampa Bay to not cover. All they needed was a 4th and 7 stop. That's it. Just a 4th and 7 stop at the end of the game.
Yeah, the Steelers couldn't do it. I mean,
it's true. It's a great point. 4th and 7, maybe the most dangerous play in football at this point. Just needed a 4th and 7. It was the over the top. This was just a shot downfield that worked out for Carolina, as they were able to get some window dressing, make it seem like they were really.
Carolina should have won if it wasn't for that offensive pass interference. That's
sure the offense.
People run down and
by the way,
the
but people are losing their minds about the backwards pass that, like, definitely shouldn't have been whistled dead, but I don't remember which back it was.
Well, they were like.
Didn't even try to pick up the ball.
Was that the Seahawks game, or that was?
No, that was in the Carolina game on Saturday.
Dowdle or somebody.
I think it was Dowdle. Didn't even attempt to, like,
Well, I think it bounced right into his hands, right?
No, it was like he. Oh man.
I know. Hold
on. Why do I care? I don't care.
Football, and we only get football.
I don't care. I don't. I hate it that we do this. Go back and if he picked it up, he didn't try to run forward. Like, he definitely did not think that, like, it's not like they took something away from him that was obviously there. It was Dowdle.
Yeah, it bounced right into his hands.
It bounced. Yeah. Well, it didn't. Okay, so right, he drops it, but he just stands there. Everybody's losing their minds about this call. He didn't attempt to advance the ball. Like, he thought
he gave himself up.
He thought it was yeah, that's actually a good point. He did give himself up. He thought it was an incomplete pass. So, like, yeah, was it a bad call? I agree that it was a bad call. It should have been a live ball, but he definitely didn't think it was a live ball, as you can tell from his reaction there. So I don't think
that play. Well, then their explanation made no sense because they're like, "Our play's dead because the ball went out of bounds."
Well, yeah, the explanation's stupid. I agree with that, But if he had said the play was dead because he gave himself up, then I would be fine with that. And what I would also say is maybe it actually saved the Panthers because he might have been tackled 4 yards in the backfield for a 4-yard loss, and instead they got an incomplete pass out of it. I didn't think the officiating was good on Saturday, and I know everybody was yelling about it, but that one was a weird one to flip out about. Anyway, Carolina.
Well, because it was the Charbonnet call from the 2-point conversion.
Right, they got one right. They got that one right. To be fair.
Yeah, I get.
But they only got it right because it bounced right to him in the end zone. If that had bounced back to the 6-yard line and picked it up, and they weren't going to give him the 2-point conversion from there. It just happened to bounce to him right in the end zone. Anyway. Moral of the story is Carolina covers and ultimately wins the NFC South and gets to host a playoff game, which is definitely a thing that should be happening.
Well, the Steelers earned their right as well. And
yeah. Myself, Jeremy, Paul, and Kyle were on Tampa there. Seattle, in a throwback, sluggish game that was not aesthetically pleasing, they handle their business. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. As they easily cover the 1.5 against San Francisco. Kyle, Paul, Ryan, James, and Joe were all on the 49ers. Most of us were on the Patriots, but thankfully not Kyle Ottenheimer. Very relevant at the bottom of the table. Very relevant that Kyle Ottenheimer, for some reason,
well, he's trying to get points back.
Was
right?
on my but I don't know if that was the place to do it. I don't know that was the spot.
Well, if not there, then when?
Yeah, the only way that was going to
left of games.
I know that the Texans took their starters out at halftime because they saw what was going on with the Jaguars. I guess it was possible that the Patriots were going to stop trying at some point, but.
Well, it's also football.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not that.
Well, there's a bunch of drama going on off the field in New England. Never.
Myself, Andrew, Jeremy, and Ryan, and John and Little Rock were on Pittsburgh.
I shouldn't say drama. It was very serious.
By the way, I was actually thinking about that after the missed extra point. There was a part of it that was like, oh, my God. I can get both.
You thread the needle.
I can swim in the water that I want to swim in. Get a cover and a Ravens win. Turns out
you should,
not the case. 8-1 week for Andrew Stetka, so he climbs within 7 games. He's not technically dead yet.
Andrew Stetka hits a massive 3 to cut the lead.
To 42. Yeah, it's a very Chris Paul moment for Andrew Stetka. He's 86-82 now on the season. 7-2 week for Jeremy Kahn, so he gets another game back on Griffin to get within 4. Griffin did have an important 6-3 week. And only a few bad weeks. James went 4-5, drops to 7 games back. Ryan Chell went 4-5, and importantly for some, Kyle Ottenheimer goes 4-5. So the top of the table, Griffin has a 4-game lead. At the bottom of the table, our power bottom of the table, Kyle Ottenheimer now with a 4-game separation from your pal. Much needed after a disastrous couple of weeks for your boy. We will, of course, pick all the wild card games and the 2 semifinals this week, as there are 16 games left in the football season for us to pick to determine if it's going to matter at the top or the bottom of the table. Slaps to the Helmet, brought to you today by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Did you know they're giving away a trip to the Olympics?
What?
Did you know that?
They're
giving away a trip to the Olympics.
Well, I'm glad I know now.
And you can win your share of $50,000 as well. Find out more by going to livech.com. That's livech.com. That's unreal. I want to go to the Olympics. I mean, that's amazing. And they're in Italy? Like, that's dope. livech.com in order to find out more. All right. You know the rules for slaps, although a lot of you are not playing by them.
I didn't want to play by them.
Unfortunately, you still have to play by them. The rules are the rules. They're all the way up there. What are we going to do? Go up there, get a ladder, climb up, and change the rules? No, sorry. They're up there.
I looked at your list. I thought you weren't playing by the rules for a second.
Why?
Because one of you guys barely played, like 5 snaps?
Okay, but we saw what happened. You got to pick 2 offensive players. You got to pick 2 defensive players. And, yes, that means you can only pick 1 special teams player or coach. And I understand that a lot of you wanted to put both the kicker and the defensive coordinator on the list.
And the offensive coordinator and the head
coach.
Sure,
but unfortunately not allowed to do that. Such are the rules. My number 5, yes, wasn't on the field much for good reason, but we saw it was difficult for me on a second offensive player. I was going to go with Keaton Mitchell because of the terrible drop. I guess you could say You could have picked any of the other offensive linemen besides the one that I picked, but I don't know. I mean, like the one. If your argument is Andrew Voorhees, the one penalty was really bad because it could have been a first down. It was also I don't know. Whatever. You can do that. Rasheen Ali got absolutely blown the F up by Nick Herbig. Blown the F up. And I get it. That's a tough matchup. But, dude, it was bad. Like, it looked like a high school football player trying to defend an NFL player. Blown the F up. Obviously, I don't know why they were going to him on third down early in the game, and it worked out anyway as they converted on fourth, but that was going nowhere. So Rasheen Ali, Keaton Mitchell was in the conversation until the return, and I get it. That's not an offensive play, but it's enough that it kind of just dropping the wheel route like that, like it's right there. We all want Keaton Mitchell to be a thing so badly, but you got to be able to do that. If your skill set is what you can do on the edge, then you have to be able. Look at what those two Steelers running backs do. Do you think either of those dudes are special?
They look like it this season, yeah.
They're guys for their career. They're just guys. But, boy, they catch the ball. They get outside. They are slippery. That's what Keaton Mitchell has to be. It's not enough to just be fast. Fast is good. You've got to be able to do all the other things. But Rasheen Ali gets the number 5 spot.
I went with Mark Andrews in my number 5 spot. I mean, just like maybe I should have gone with 2 O-linemen, I guess.
Yeah, I think the argument would be for a second offensive lineman.
I think it's just the other stuff is that he's the guy you extended for 3 years here, and he's nowhere to be found.
But it's not like he was dropping the football.
I know, but the offense, they went 4 for 12 on third downs, and Mark Andrews is supposed to be your de facto third down guy. Maybe I should put DeAndre Hopkins here then. They had that one miscommunication, Lamar and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
but they went 4 for 12 on third downs, and
that was
Mark Andrews is your de facto third down guy. Okay. He's your safety blanket, and
I don't know.
They failed. They were lifeless for 2.5 quarters.
The Hopkins thing is weird. Like, what is the right thing to do there? Is the right thing to throw, or is it just to let's get the first down? Like, I'm here, throw me the ball, let's get the first down and keep things moving. I don't know what the right decision is on that play and who's more in the wrong. And truth be told, even where Lamar threw it, I'm not sure he still might not have overthrown Hopkins on the sideline. Yeah, all right.
I struggle with the second offensive guy because I wanted to put Todd Monken on the list, and I don't like burying the I do like burying the offensive line, but I don't like burying the offensive line. And since I already have one lineman, I didn't want to put multiple.
Roquan Smith is my number 4, just a complete and utter non-factor in a game that was determined over the middle. I mean, like, that's what the Steelers did. And there was no punishment for it. There was no, I got to think about this. Just an utter non-factor in a game that was determined over the middle.
Andrew Voorhees was my number 4. Again, this is the spot I think Todd Monken should be at. I mean, just like, how does this team routinely, with a team with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, that's set rushing record after rushing record with this quarterback, how did they routinely get out-snapped offensively week in and week out? It happened again last night. 75 snaps for the Steelers to 50 offensive snaps for the Ravens. Like, it's unbelievable how they just can't figure out how to stay on the field. And as Dan Wilcox was just mentioned, as we talked about with Dan, you have a suspect defense, and they cannot find a way. Every week they are getting out-snapped by the opposing offense.
Yeah.
And they can't find a way to just try to help their defense a little bit. Voorhees was bad. He missed several blocks. There was a scramble where Lamar was rolling to the left, and then there were 2 guys, and Voorhees didn't know who to block, so he just stood there and froze. Andrew Voorhees was my number 4. He got blown up on the play that Falele got injured on. I mean,
the problem is
you can just pick anyone.
Ronnie Stanley's the offensive lineman that has to be on the list. That cannot happen. It just can't happen.
Except it does, and I'm used to it. Like, that's
and spare me lots of guys do that. Like, dude, you're begging for them to call that. You're begging. It's so far off the line. It's so far off. You're asking for it to be called. Throw that in with his whiff on Cam Hayward. And I know that the hold was debatable as to whether or not it was actually a hold, but I do think it was. Like, I think it was a hold. I think it was the right call. It was a bad night for Ronnie Stanley. Bad. To me, that was an easy choice as the other offensive player. That was my number 3.
My number 3, that's where I put Roquan. It's just been the tackling was horrific last night. Malachi Starks was pretty terrible as well, especially after Kyle Hamilton gets hurt, and this is just step up maybe a little bit.
On top of everything else going on around here, our printer sucks. That's why I've been in a rush to put the pictures up.
It's just been a lot more bark than bite this season for Roquan Smith, and last night was on full display once again.
Marlon's number 2. We all have eyes. Marlon's number 2.
Yeah, I don't know what you do. Maybe there's a way they can restructure the contract somehow.
The problem is, a restructure would be with an extra year, and at this point, you don't want to do an extra year. You can ask him to sort of move some things around, but again, you're only doing that if you're keeping him around. There's no scenario. The only way you release him is a post-June 1 designation.
I think I can't talk about it. It's just we talked about it last night. He's a legacy Raven. I do feel emotionally connected to Marlon Humphrey and having him around this city. As much as everyone gets annoyed by the off-field stuff, I think it makes him very unique, and it makes him a fun player to cover and watch and root for. And when he makes a big play, you can't be more happy for him.
Yeah, I
don't know how to talk about it.
I've never cared about what he's tweeting. I only care. This is the same. It goes the same way for me. You guys get lost in some of this. I think it's neat that Tyler Loop stood and answered questions last night, but it doesn't impact my opinion of Tyler Loop and whether or not he's capable of doing his job. It will never impact that. You guys got really mad that Mark Andrews didn't answer questions last year. I don't care about these things the way that you do. I get it. I should because I'm, quote-unquote, in the media, but I don't. I care about whether or not you do your job. That's what I care about. I don't care if Marlon Humphrey gets on Twitter after a game. To your point, I've told him this before. We've had conversations about it. I think that he tweets weird things and things that I don't agree with and are kind of desperate sometimes in attention, but I don't care. I care about one thing. Do you do your job? And Marlon Humphrey has done his job a lot in his career. He is a Ring of Honor Raven. It's just not that anymore. And, could he still be a helpful slot corner?
He's just not a guy that can really play 100% of snaps.
I mean, he definitely can't play outside. He cannot play outside. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he comes back after he gets rejuvenated this year. I don't know.
He's still because
I think he's gonna be on the team.
In his 20s.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be on the team next year. Look, Tyler Loop's number 1. You guys stop. Anybody who sent him a threat or his wife a threat, y'all are weirdos. And I've said it before. That should be criminal. There is a line. If you tweet him and say, "Nice kick, loser," that's not criminal. But if somebody out there, and there's no chance that there's people that listen to this show because we know we weed people out. But if somebody's out there that's sending them death threats or something like that, you should be in jail. You should be. At worst, you should be seeking help. Or at least, you should be seeking help. But none of that, there is no excuse. There is no, but he's a rookie. There is none of that. It can't happen. That is the job. Plain and simple. That's the job. Tyler Loop.
I was able to. So one of my best friends he looks identical to Tyler Loop. It's uncanny. It's uncanny, really. So every time I've been mad at Tyler Loop, I've just sent him a message and threatened him. So
don't do that.
Don't
do that.
No, he understands. He gets it. Tyler Loop is number 1.
We'll get him up at GlennClarkRadio.com. Our slaps to the helmet for last night. We'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit and tubular to wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
This January, go for the gold at Live Casino and enter to win the ultimate winter experience. Earn the entire month of January, and on Saturday, January 24th, you could be one of 25 lucky winners to take their place on the podium and win a share of $50,000 in prizes, including a trip to the 2026 Winter Games in Milano Cortina. Let the games begin at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website CostasInn.com for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Back in here as we're winding down for a Monday edition of the program. It is what it is. It's I can't make any of it fun. I can't make any of it pleasant. Another coach off the board, Jonathan Gannon, fired by the Arizona Cardinals. So what is that now? 6? 6?
Giants, Titans.
Yeah, Falcons,
Browns,
Raiders, Browns, and Cardinals, right?
Yes.
So now 6 coaching vacancies. I had a few people message me this morning about with the Browns firing Kevin Stefanski, do you think that Jim Schwartz would want to come home?
Yeah.
Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know who the coach is going to be. I don't like it's.
Well, Jim Schwartz is the coach.
Oh, you think he'd be the head coach?
Yeah.
I don't think that Jim Schwartz. I don't know. Maybe he gets his way back. I actually thought that Jim Schwartz did a good job in Detroit. I think we all forget how impossible the job was.
Was that right after? When did he take over?
Jim Schwartz.
Was that right after 0-16?
It was basically right after 0-16. I mean, basically right after that. And got him to the playoffs. And, we think that Dan Campbell created the Lions. But, the Lions were utterly moribund, and Jim Schwartz made them competitive. So I don't know that Jim Schwartz couldn't be a head coach again. It's just that he's so far removed from that at this point that I'd be surprised by him being back in head coaching conversation. But I do think he will be a very sought-after defensive coordinator. And I get it. This is home. Now, if I remember correctly, there may have been some negative feelings between the sides. Like he might have wanted a job at one point that he didn't get. I want to say he started. One of his early jobs was on the Ravens staff. He was on the 96 staff, in fact. But I think at some point as he started rising, he might have wanted a coordinator job, and it didn't work out. I just don't remember all the details. I used to talk to Jim Schwartz a lot. I don't remember, but that was a long time ago. I don't know what his feelings would be. Obviously, the Ravens have a connection. If John Harbaugh's going to be back, and Denard Wilson would make all the sense in the world, right? You presume that the Titans, whoever the next coach is going to be, isn't going to retain that staff. So Denard Wilson sort of fits the bill of, if it's about proving that you can bring up the next coach, you could still claim that Denard Wilson was your guy. And I think we all know that there were a lot there. Do we all know that? Is that common knowledge? There were a lot of players that were very upset that it was Zach Orr and not Denard Wilson who got the job. I don't know. There are definitely going to be a lot of coaches available. I just don't know right now who and I think it was Scott who got into the comments and asked, like, if they were to fire John Harbaugh, where I want to go. I don't know. Here's what I would say.
Dude, right or wrongs, we were supposed to promote the DC last time.
Yeah,
it's Zach Orr.
Right. Yeah, that's the head coach. A lot of people are saying that, like, I think the most, it seems like the most desirable head coaching candidates this year are all defensive coordinators. The Robert Salehs of the world are very high on the list. I would not go the route of a defensive.
Hafley, I guess.
Hafley is, very much at the top of the list.
Even though as soon as you lose Micah Parsons, they can't stop us.
Yeah, it is interesting. Jesse Minter, of course, is very high on the list, but that to me is just replacing one Harbaugh with another Harbaugh. Yeah. I would be more interested in an offensive mind if that were the direction. I don't want to say that, like, I'm interested in Clint Kubiak because he's Gary Kubiak. I don't want nepotism to be the reason. But there is a part of me that, like, I'd be interested in Clint Kubiak. And imagine if he could get his brother to come with him to be the offensive coordinator. Although I guess Clint would probably just be – you'd probably make a de facto offensive coordinator, and it would be Clint's offense. So he probably wouldn't do that. That's the type. I know a lot of people are enamored with Joe Brady. I don't know. I feel like Joe Brady's been on, like, the
he's still in Buffalo?
Yeah, he's, like, on the bubble of whether or not he's even done a good job.
He's like Todd Monken-ish, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't think that Joe Brady – I mean, maybe he'd be a great coach. I just don't know that that's the ascending mind that I'm looking for. I think Clint Kubiak probably, to me, is more of the what I'm looking for if you're in the market for a head coach. I think that's I guess maybe Matt LaFleur's brother would be in that.
Where's he at?
He's the Rams offensive coordinator. Like that, he'd be in the conversation.
Follow the McVay coaching tree.
I don't know.
All right, so Harbaugh stays.
Who's the Towson guy in Jacksonville?
Oh,
What's that guy? Udinsky.
Yeah.
Grant Udinsky. Grant Udinsky. Yeah. I don't think so. But sure, we'll throw him in that mix just to throw him in.
They have to move on from Zach Orr, right?
I cannot fathom other than John Harbaugh's hubris. Like, if they bring him back and he just says, "You guys don't understand. This is the guy." Like, I don't know, but I can't fathom keeping Zach Orr.
So then Raheem Morris is another one that.
Yeah, obviously that's a name that'll be brought up. I think a lot of people believe that he would be Dan Quinn. Like, given the relationship there, would make a lot of sense for him to end up in Washington with Dan Quinn. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to be dealing with that. That's what we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. So we'll have lots of time to talk about it because, as I said, there ain't a thing to talk about with Maryland basketball.
What do you mean? They scored 54 points.
They sure did.
It's 54 more than you.
I meant to text Patrick and say, we're sure they're going to win a conference game, right? Like, we're sure they're going to win a conference game. Because home against Oregon looked like maybe one of the more winnable games on the schedule. Team coming across the country that's not very good.
Wait, that's a national title. Team right there.
Sure. But we're doing it. By the way, we had planned this from some time out. We're going to go do the show at Towson on Thursday because we're very excited about Towson basketball, and now all of a sudden,
still exciting, right?
They can't win a game. 0-3 in conference play.
Well, the problem is they can't make it back.
We're still going to go do it because Griffin wants to. Like, Griffin was so excited about going and doing the show. Oh, you're starting to have second thoughts. I guess we're still going to go do it, but it is the wrong time. God, it just feels like.
The thing though, then if they win, then we have to do
every
home
show.
Game. Yeah,
I don't think we're going to be doing that. I don't think that's going to be the case. I understand.
We just become a Towson basketball.
Might be talking about defensive coordinators. Might be talking about that. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Stand the Fan Variety Hour. Boy, what great it would do for this community. for today to be the day that the Orioles signed Framber Valdez. Like, God, what it wouldn't do for our community if the Orioles were to sign Framber Valdez today. Stan and Luke and Ross have been periodically checking in as the Orioles have made moves this offseason. They'll continue to do that. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. As always, Stan's show is brought to you by the Costas Inn with 2 great locations, North Point Boulevard and at the Fairgrounds in Timonium.
Let me make sure I.
Is this what you want to talk about? Because I haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, we can talk about that first.
A lot of people are. Jason McCourty shared this image. Lamar Jackson retweeted it. I don't know if this was leverage or not, because in watching it in real time, you can't fully tell if that still is him going up or him coming down. And watching it again in real time, I was not able to actually get a sense of whether he actually used them as leverage or whether he was bracing himself after his own jump. And as I watch it one more time, I'm a little bit more convinced that he's more just bracing himself after his own jump. I don't know. Like, I get it. Like, there's irony in... the Ravens had a bad leverage call go against them in the first Steelers game. Now, did they have a leverage call that should have been called? I don't know. And I lean in watching it towards no, that he jumped first. Like, if you watch it again, I'm actually more and more convinced every time I watch it that it is not a leverage call. That, watch, he jumps, then he puts his hands on, which seems way more like bracing than it does like leverage. So I don't think that was a bad call. I think that's just a screenshot without context. But if you want to say he maybe after, as he's bracing himself, he does get some leverage out of it. I mean, he doesn't. He falls forward. He doesn't really get any leverage out of it. But, like, watch. He goes up. Then he makes the contact. I don't think he actually uses the leverage to get himself into the air.
Yeah, but if that's what the rule says.
The rules vary. I did look up the rule. It's very difficult, right? Yeah. Hang on a second. Kick leverage. I looked it up because this was going around.
And then he misses the 29-yard field goal anyway, so like that.
Say if he gets another one, he just miss it. Yeah. Leverage occurs when placing. Hang on a second. This is the exact wording. Leverage occurs when. Is when a defensive player jumping or standing on a teammate or an opponent to block or attempt to block an opponent's kick. I don't. There's another. I saw it written another way. Hang on a second.
Well, I mean, it's just like
here we
go.
All right, this is exactly Rule 12, Section 3, Article 1. Leverage occurs when, quote, placing a hand or hands on a teammate or opponent to gain additional height. I don't think that's what you see there. I don't think that's leverage. I don't know if any of the officials on Twitter have checked in about it because, like, it's really not such a critical. I mean, he missed the kick. He missed the kick. I don't know that he did that.
That guy was launching off of Nick Moore. That's why he missed the freaking kick.
Stop it. I don't think it's leverage personally, but maybe you can make an argument that
Tyler Loop saw that and he went, "Whoa!"
Yeah, right. Now I got to kick it all the way over here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he's such a good kicker.
Go ahead.
That he had to redirect himself mid.
It's going to be very difficult for Griffin. Griffin really wants the show to be 2 hours every day.
Lamar Jackson
sabotaged us.
Is the first quarterback. This comes from Dante Klopflem, one of the NFL research guys.
Yeah.
First quarterback in NFL history to lose a game after throwing multiple go-ahead fourth-quarter touchdowns of 50 yards. First quarterback in history to lose after throwing multiple go-ahead fourth-quarter touchdowns of over 50
I mean,
yards.
to be fair, like, it's so that is as much anomaly as it is accomplishment. Like, and I saw somebody was getting worked up. Oh, you guys always try to find a way to make it about Lamar. Like, no, he's just pointing out how bizarre it is. Like, it's not putting a loss on Lamar. Now, for what it's worth, Lamar played really well in the fourth quarter. I don't know how well he played on the whole. He was great on the first drive, and he was great in the fourth quarter. And in between, he looked kind of lost. Oh, you want to make it the holy water, and that was in the end zone where Tyler Loop missed.
So should that be investigated as well?
So why does God like the Steelers more than the Ravens?
I don't know, because he's a jerk.
Where's that? Where does that come from? Why is God on their side? Because I'm pretty sure John Harbaugh gets the ashes every year. I'm pretty sure he's built the entire thing around God. Why does God like the Steelers more than he likes the Ravens? I'm gonna need a religious person.
I guess because they did it. I don't know, because they called him. They called this guy. Should the Ravens have had their own chaplain?
Didn't somebody sprinkle holy water in the Ravens locker room though earlier this year? Wasn't there on like ladies' night? Didn't someone or no? Maybe it wasn't holy water. Maybe it was incense. I think it was incense.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
in the Ravens locker room during a tour or something.
Well, you know what this means? If the Steelers are going to embrace God, the Ravens have no choice. Next year, Satan. That's the way it's going to have to go. You're going to have to talk to all these coaching candidates, figure out who a Satanist is. We're going to have to embrace black magic, baby. That's the only choice that we have. I think that was always what we thought the Steelers had was black magic, right? Like real voodoo there in Pittsburgh. Turns out they've got God, so we're going to need Satan. That's just the way it's going to have to be.
Who would be the most Satanist coach available?
I don't know who would be the most Satanist because I think we've learned that Satanism isn't what we thought it was. Like over the years,
not all that bad.
Yeah, it's like mostly good people that are just like involved in like a fun bit. So I don't know, but we're gonna have to. We have no choice.
Oh, so you're a Satanist? You're trying to recruit me right now?
Maybe, maybe.
Drake May, guy who did have a good season and will probably win an MVP. Drake May became the fourth quarterback in NFL history to win 13 games and have over 30 passing touchdowns in his first or second season in NFL history. The first three to do this also won MVP.
His first three seasons?
First or second season.
First or second season.
13 wins and 30 passing touchdowns in either the first or second season.
Well, I mean, Lamar had the wins, but he didn't have the passing touchdowns. Matt Ryan.
Not Matt Ryan.
13 wins, 30 passing touchdowns in his first or second season.
Yeah. And he had to win the MVP in his first or second season.
And he had to win the MVP. Okay.
Drake May looking to become the
Mahomes.
fourth on this list. No Mahomes.
He was MVP in his second season?
No. How many touchdowns did he throw that year? I mean, I'm sure he threw 30.
He had to have thrown 30, right?
Maybe he didn't win. Maybe he didn't get the win.
I mean, no. They in the second season they were really good. Maybe it was.
Yeah, they were definitely really. Yeah. Was that the year he threw 50?
I don't know if it was the year he threw 50, but the second season was really good. I'm kind of blown away.
Yeah, he threw 50 in the second season.
And he didn't win MVP?
No, I feel like the wins must not have been there.
Oh. All right.
2018 Chiefs. How many wins did they have?
They were good.
Yeah. They lost to Tom Brady that year?
Yeah, maybe it was because was it still 16 games then, so they might have gone 12-4. I guess that's possible. How about?
Yep, they went 12-4.
12-4.
Do not qualify.
All right. How about Kurt Warner?
Kurt Warner, yes, in 1999.
So his first season. I mean, I guess technically it wasn't his first. I mean, his first season he played. Yeah.
I don't like that.
What me?
No, okay.
You don't care for that? How about? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't Peyton Manning because they weren't. Oh, they were Peyton Manning, but he wasn't. Yeah, it was. It was still another couple years. And Tom Brady didn't throw touchdowns like that at that point, nor was he MVP.
No.
Aaron Rodgers didn't play in his second season.
Yeah, you're keeping him in bad quarterbacks here.
Yeah, right. Drew Brees was still bad at that point.
Not Drew Brees.
How about Marino?
Dan Marino in 1984, the first to accomplish this. 13 wins, 30 passing touchdowns, and MVP in 1984.
Am I still missing somebody?
Yes, you are.
One more. I don't know.
He was one of the first names you said, but you're like, no, not him.
Oh, it was Lamar.
It was Lamar in 2019.
He had
36 touchdowns.
Did he really? All right. For some reason, thought it was less than that.
And of course, MVP in 2019.
No doubt about
Lamar
that.
Jackson. So Drake May looking to join that list of Lamar, Kurt Warner, and Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. All right. Here's what's coming up totally tubular wise. Tubular is brought to you by the best of print issue of Press Box. It is available for free at your neighborhood Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. You can also go to PressBoxOnline.com/find and figure out where you can go pick it up. You can read it all, PressBoxOnline.com/bestof as well. Here's what's coming up tonight, and it ain't much. It's a bleak week, by the way. There's not a lot tonight, not a lot tomorrow.
Big one.
Yeah, FCS championship game tonight,
Oh, yes, that.
7:30. Illinois State and Montana State. Who you got?
I think the Bobs.
Yeah, Bobcats. I think so. I think that's the safe bet.
The Cinderella Illinois story
right?
has to end.
I mean, to be fair, they got there. That's on ESPN, the FCS championship. The Capitals are home against the Mighty Ducks tonight. Is it still the Mighty Ducks, or is it just the Ducks?
Just the Ducks.
Just the Ducks?
Yeah.
I prefer it to be the Mighty Ducks. Let's go back to that.
They went by the Mighty
They
Ducks?
did. They absolutely went by the Mighty Ducks.
That just wasn't a promotional night thing?
No, it was that when they started as a franchise, they were the Mighty Ducks.
The Anaheim Mighty Ducks?
Yep, 100%.
Or the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, whatever.
However
Anaheim likes to
yeah, I don't think it's Los Angeles Ducks Mighty of Anaheim. I don't think it's something like that. But, yeah. Anyway, that's tonight at 7 on Monumental. And, yeah.
Jimmy Fallon's got a big guest tonight.
Oh?
Josh Charles.
Oh!
On Jimmy Fallon, alongside Sadie Sink and AJR.
It's actually I can't talk about it. There's something I know that I can't say.
Oh, you got spoiled the show?
No. I didn't get to watch last night. I'm looking forward to watching it. And I know that Josh and Jimmy are close, and it actually drives me crazy because like
that's right. You hate Jimmy Fallon.
I don't care for Jimmy Fallon, and I feel bad because like I'll start to say something negative about Jimmy, and I know that Josh might be listening, and I'm like, oh damn it, that's his friend. I don't want to do that. I'm just not a Jimmy Fallon fan, man. I'm sorry. I can't. He might be the nicest guy in the world. He might.
You're not gonna watch the interview.
I know that Josh has had some great appearances on Fallon over the years, like one where he was like making snowballs on the show. Like he always tries to do something very Baltimore whenever he's on, but yeah, it's just not for me, man.
Nothing fun to talk about today either.
That's true. That's a good point. Of all the days, is that it?
Yeah, big one. A PBS season 30 premiere of Antiques Roadshow.
Oh hell yeah, man! I'm all in. All right. Thanks today to Omar Ruiz. Thanks to Dan Wilcox. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the.
Also, Ben Affleck and Aaron Dougherty on Kimmel tonight.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program, Bo Smolka for the final time.
Ever?
I mean, probably. I mean, he's getting out of the game, man. Like, he's not going to cover sports somewhere else. He's getting out of the game. That kind of makes me sad now that I think about it that way. Ah, damn. Bo Smolka will join us tomorrow.
Cancel? No, I don't want to be sad.
Right. Just keep pushing it off. If we never do it, he can't leave. Anything else?
No.
Oh, boy. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all the great sponsors and partners, including Volo Sports.
Maybe the Orioles signed somebody.
Maybe, I hope. 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org. Live Casino and Hotel, Nick's Fish House, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, the Costas Inn, and much more. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday night. Go Josh Charles. Duke sucks.